Jay-Z once said, I guess it's just the penalty of leadership. I guess I'm what dudes want to be and shit. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Moth. So this new project from Boldy James and Nicholas Craven is the first big drop of 2024. I know we are only 13 days in so far, but this was a release that I think many of us had been anticipating since it was announced just a couple months back. In 2022, both of these gentlemen joined forces for their Fair Exchange No Robbery album, and that was one of the better releases of that year. Now, we gotta remember that both Nicholas Craven and Boldy James have been on their own impressive and inexhaustible grinds ever since about 2020. But from my understanding, for this new album, Penalty of Leadership, it was mostly recorded shortly after Boldy had recovered from his near-death car crash at the beginning of 2023. It contains 11 songs lasting approximately 36 minutes. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with this track-by-track breakdown. The opener, Formal Invite, has this alluring vocal sample, a guitar and rolling keys. There is a kind of a bluesy feel to the production. And that shots ring out, people shout sample is pretty addicting. But on this opener, Boldy is doing some clever gun talk while also speaking on standing on business. So yeah, as a whole, I have zero complaints with how they chose to set it off. Track 2, Jack Frost, is set to this flavorful pitched sample. It's bright and cheerful, feeling like something that you could have heard at a skating rink back in the 70s and 80s. But he was talking gutter over this with stuff like quick to give a dude angel wings like he was sipping on a Red Bull, and a shootout every other night. You don't know the feeling. I nicknamed my stepper Black and Decker because all he knows is dripping. So yeah, I really dug Boldy's menacing raps over this breezy, pretty sample. It was a cool contrast. Conversely, track 3, Evil Genius, has more of a meditative and pensive beat that's slower and spacious with some synths. And despite Boldy's usual cold-blooded, icy demeanor, it appears that he has a regret or two, like when he states, all I emphasize is drug dealing, shit that they gonna hold against me when I'm Grammy nominated. I just wish the bro was with me. Look at all the time he wasted in the kitchen whipping cane. Could have took the game and dominated. Then he has a line like, bad bitch, legs crossed, reading Maya Angelou, which sounds like an instant vibe. I also thought the following line was pretty witty. Teenage mutant in the whip. He spin like Michelangelo. Following this is the highlight, Murderous Tendencies, where he's speaking on how the pain, the trauma, the betrayal, all that has left him with these murderous tendencies. And this is backed by a cinematic soul beat. The keys are classy. There's the sound of vinyl crackling, and you can just feel the emotion that's in the female vocal sample. There are some slightly more introspective bars on this one too, but not entirely. However, he does get a little deeper when he speaks on most of his friends being dead so that he couldn't even fit their bodies on a collage if he wanted to. I also dug like the vivid imagery you'll get on a line like this. Junkies on the corner split a fifth of Crown Royal. And there's cool gun clapping bars too, like real outspoken, my chopper chewed with his mouth open, died with his tongue hanging out his mouth. Jordan. That was messed up, but funny. The subsequent song, no pun intended, also has some heavenly soul chops with these elegant keys and minimal drums, but somehow it still has that head nodding factor. And of course, Boldy is doing more heavy D-boy talk, but he's sliding over this Craven beat. I thought the following bars were really clever. Hopping out the Urus in some Dior's. They know we got the purist breakdancing like a b-boy. Did y'all catch that in Tundra? Purist meaning the finest of the white substance, but also purist meaning b-boys who like to breakdance and practice the 4 elements. I also thought this line was a little comical. Going to school with too much money got my son suspended. So you can just imagine Boldy dropping his son off in the morning, giving him $100 bill for like dress down day or something. And the teacher's looking shocked like, oh my God, this is drug money. Right after, though, is the single Brand New Chanel Kicks, and it is on this record where he addresses the car crash and how challenging his recovery has been. It has a shiny but minimalist loop that's skeletal but hypnotic. But at the end of the track, the full sample kicks in, and it's definitely splendid. Boldy is rapping in that trance-like flow that will have you feeling like you're in a trance yourself. So yeah, overall, cool single where he is getting a little more personal, speaking on surviving that crazy crash. Immediately after is Straight As, where we get this atmospheric soul beat that did give me some Heatmakers vibes. Boldy's mainly speaking on how he has consistently been this stand-up dude, but he also talks a little more about the accident. So as a whole, you got some dope reflections over this warm, hazy production. Afterwards is Soccer Mom, which has an amusing title and a unique sample that almost sounds like a xylophone loop. It's quirky, but still hypnotic. Boldy admits, I run games, so when it's run on me, I can peep it. Yeah, altogether, another cool track where he is doing some heavy coke talk, speaking on moving at work in Soccer Mom type of vehicles. Then there is Early Worms Get Birds with Mafia Double D. And it has drums, and the drums slap too. So maybe you had your prayers answered if you wanted drums from Craven, but I know the drums, they can't hurt. We also get an obscure vocal loop that sounded pretty opulent. Yeah, I was getting some mafioso vibes from this record, and I could envision Benny as a feature. Even though Boldy had a solid verse, I'd say that Double D's part really stood out. I liked when he said, legally colorblind, really all I see is commas, cook it up right in front of you, something like Benny Hanna's. Fuck do that got to do with the price of tea in China? The second and last song is Speedy Recovery, and I noticed that Boldy's voice seemed different here from the other tracks, but this was backed by a soothing vocal harmony, which sounded like a lullaby, a gangster's lullaby that is, and Boldy is talking about how everyone had wished them a speedy recovery, and also how a lot of youngins on the street were likely inspired by him. Then this project comes to a finish with All My Tokens, and it's a hard-hitting finish. We get this punchy electric guitar that is psychedelic, but it also reminded me a bit of some of the instrumentals from Alchemist and Derringer. Although we have heard Craven dabble in rock samples a bit before. Boldy was going off over this cold beat, stating, Brody died a cold devil. I'm the angel rose from hell. But with my rights, I weigh my wrongs. You weigh my pain up on a scale. So overall, I'm going to give this project a rating of 4 mics. Might go up with more listens. But I'd have to say, for now, they're definitely 2 for 2, and this is a worthy follow-up to their 2022 effort. And it's probably just as good in all honesty. Boldy is, again, clever with his vivid reflections, but he doesn't always stick to topic, which is something I wish he would do more sometimes. But there were a couple songs on here where he did speak on his personal life a bit more and how that was impacted by the car crash. And I think that that's something that a lot of fans wanted to learn more about, because I mean, his recovery story is one of perseverance and motivation. Yeah, Boldy and Craven delivered again, and hopefully they will both continue to have a prolific 2024. My favorite tracks include Jack Frost, Murderous Tendencies, no pun intended, Brand New Chanel Kicks, Early Worms Get Birds, Speedy Recovery, and All My Tokens. But let me know your thoughts below in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Muff. I'm signing out. But as always, it's peace and blessings. Boldy James, Nicholas Craven, penalty of leadership, ground them like punishment. 1.